I never thought the people I trusted most would be the ones to destroy my life. It started with small signs, things I ignored, things I thought meant nothing. But I was wrong. I was sitting in the apartment I once shared with my fiancé, Ethan, waiting for him to come back home. We had been engaged for almost 2 years, and everything about our future felt planned, stable, perfect. Or at least I thought it was perfect. That evening, I was supposed to meet the wedding planner to finalize our venue. I was excited, nervous, imagining the life I was about to step into. But then something changed everything. Ethan's phone was left on the kitchen counter, still charging. A message popped up on the screen. From a name I knew too well. Lily. My best friend. The same girl who had been in my life since college. The one who knew every secret, every dream, every fear I had ever shared. The one I trusted more than anyone else in the world. The preview of the message made my chest tighten. Your suit fitting is confirmed for Thursday. I still can't believe this is happening. At first, I tried to convince myself it meant nothing. Maybe it was work. Maybe it was a surprise for me. But something inside me already knew the truth was different. My hands were shaking as I picked up his phone. I knew his passcode. We had never hidden anything from each other. Or so I believed. What I found destroyed that belief forever. 3 months of messages. Hidden conversations. Secret plans. My name barely mentioned, as if I was already erased from the picture. And then I saw the photos. Lily trying on wedding dresses. Dresses I had once saved in my own folder, dresses I had shown Ethan when we dreamed about our wedding together. My stomach dropped. Because this wasn't just betrayal. It was replacement. And the worst part, my father's name appeared in those messages too. Planning. Encouraging. Helping them build a future that excluded me completely. I sat there in silence, my world collapsing in real time, realizing something terrifying. The people closest to me had been building a life where I didn't exist. And I had no idea how long this had been going on. My hands were still shaking when I heard the door open. Ethan walked in like nothing had changed. Like my world hadn't just shattered on his phone screen. For a few seconds I couldn't speak. I just looked at him, trying to find even a trace of guilt, confusion, something human in his expression. But what I saw instead was hesitation. Like he already knew this moment was coming. Emma, he said slowly, dropping his keys on the table. You weren't supposed to find out like this. That line hit me harder than anything else. Not if but when. I stood up, holding his phone tightly in my hand. 3 months, my voice cracked. 3 months, Ethan? He didn't deny it. He just ran his hand through his hair, avoiding my eyes. The same gesture I used to find comforting now made my stomach turn. It's not what you think, he said quietly. But it was exactly what I thought. There was no misunderstanding here. No accident. No confusion. Just a plan I was never part of. And then I asked the question I already knew the answer to. Was my father involved in this? Silence. That silence told me everything. Ethan finally exhaled, like a weight had been sitting on his chest for months. He said you and we weren't compatible long term, he admitted. He thinks Lily understands the kind of life I need. A cold wave went through me. Not just betrayal, but replacement based on status, image, and connections. Not love. Calculation. Before I could respond, the phone in my hand lit up again. A message from Lily. Please don't hate me. I didn't know how to tell you. I let out a bitter laugh. You didn't know how? I whispered. Or you didn't want to lose your place in this perfect little plan? Ethan stepped forward. Emma, please. Let's talk about this calmly. Calmly. My voice rose. You planned my life behind my back. Tears finally broke through, but I refused to fall apart in front of them. I placed the phone on the counter. Then I looked at both of them, the man I loved, and the woman I trusted. You didn't just betray me, I said quietly. You erased me. And with that I walked out. No explanation. No goodbye. Just silence behind me. But deep down I knew. This wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of something I didn't understand yet. I didn't know where I was going when I left that apartment. I just knew I couldn't stay in the same city. The same life where everything reminded me of them. For 3 days I disappeared. No calls. No messages. No explanations. I stayed in a small cheap apartment on the edge of the city, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything over and over again. Every memory now felt like a lie. Every smile felt rehearsed. And then came the knock on the door. My roommate, Clara, forced her way in with groceries in her hands and frustration on her face. "You can't just vanish like this," she said firmly. "Whatever happened, you're still here. So start acting like it." I wanted to argue, but I didn't have the energy. So I told her everything. Every message. Every photo. Every secret plan. When I finished, she didn't look shocked. She looked angry. "No," she said coldly. "That's not love. That's manipulation dressed as ambition." Her words hit something inside me. Because deep down, I knew she was right. That night I made a decision. I couldn't heal in the same place that broke me. I needed distance. I needed silence. I needed a reset. So I chose a city I had once dreamed about visiting alone. Lisbon. A place where nobody knew my name. Nobody knew my story. Nobody could rewrite my future. When I arrived, everything felt unfamiliar. But in a good way. New streets. New air. New light. I rented a small apartment with cracked windows and sunlight that poured in every morning like forgiveness. First, I didn't work. I didn't plan. I didn't even try to be okay. I just walked. I photographed strangers, buildings, oceans, shadows. Anything that reminded me I was still capable of seeing beauty without pain attached to it. Slowly, something changed. The memories didn't disappear. But they stopped controlling me. One evening, while standing near the river, I realized something simple but powerful. I wasn't missing them anymore. I was just missing who I used to be before them. And for the first time, I felt ready to find her again. Time didn't heal everything, but it gave me something better. Clarity. 6 months in Lisbon changed me in ways I didn't expect. I stopped waiting for apologies that would never come. I stopped replaying conversations I couldn't change. And slowly I started building something new. Something mine. I began working again. Small photography gigs at first, local events, quiet weddings, street portraits of strangers who smiled without knowing my story. Then everything shifted. One evening, I got a call from a luxury event company. They needed a photographer for a high-profile book launch at a seaside hotel. The pay was more than I had earned in months. I said yes without thinking. I didn't know it yet. But that job would change everything again. At the venue I met him. Adrian. A writer. Famous, confident, but strangely tired of the spotlight. He didn't care about perfect poses or staged moments. He just wanted to be seen as human. And somehow, I understood that. We didn't talk about our pasts at first. We just talked about life, about art, about the pressure of being someone you're expected to be. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I had to perform. Months passed. Work turned into conversations. Conversations turned into trust. And trust slowly turned into something deeper. Love, but not the kind I had before. This time it wasn't built on expectations. It was built on understanding. A year later, my work was being published internationally. Adrian's book became a bestseller. And I was no longer someone's ex. I was someone building her own name. Then one day my phone rang again. Unknown number. But I already knew who it was before I answered. My father. His voice was different now, slower, older. "I made mistakes," he said. "I just want to see you again." For a moment I said nothing. Because I finally understood something important. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. And closure doesn't always require reunion. "I'm okay now," I said quietly. "That's all you ever needed to know." And I hung up. That night I stood by the window with Adrian beside me, watching the city lights. No anger. No pain. No regret. Just peace. Because I learned something the hard way. Sometimes losing everything you thought you needed is the only way to find what you actually deserve. And I didn't lose my life. I finally found it.